All right, everybody, we're back. It's Thursday morning, and I'm excited today because we're starting to get people back in the studio. Steph, Sabraw, and Brett Sheridan join me today as we are going to talk about a great many things. Main thing is PAtrick Stewart. He said, "Yeah, man, it's me. I'm Professor X. I'm in Doctor Strange. That's my voice." So what does that mean? That means that a lot of those cameos when we had Rob Liefeld on recently had said a lot of this shit was true. So who else are we going to see? We're going to speculate. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about some other things going on in the world of entertainment, where it's going to go. I do not know. And you're going to have Stranger Things Season 4 or whatever the hell season it is. That's coming up. The Bullet Train trailer just released. It got this Adam Project thing that's coming out. The Oscars, does anybody give a shit? Batman, so much stuff to talk about. And we are going to just have Brett do the whole thing because he's gonna really kill it today. All right, listen. Before we do anything else, I want to ask you to do something. Show a little, will you? Show an ounce of class. Show some class, and go ahead and subscribe. Hit that notification button, the bell. And for people asking, no, the shirt is not available yet. It will be available soon. Steph already wants one. Okay.
Apologies.
It's the big thing. Let's get into it. Come on, everybody. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Big thing. Thursday. The 3rd. Year of our Lord. I'm happy to have you all here, especially in this. We haven't really addressed it too much, and I don't want to get too much into it, but this crazy time that we're living in, and love, prayers, and thoughts are going out to the people in Ukraine. Keep kicking ass, everybody. We're with you. And I like I said, I don't really get political on the show, but to me, this is not politics. This is a human issue. So we're praying for him. All right. That being said, these two assholes. I should just say one asshole. Steph Sabraw is definitely an asshole.
Yeah, it's actually me.
Yeah, you
is
are.
BC before Kristian? If we're talking Year of Our Lord, is that the new thing that we're going with?
Whatever you want to do
Okay.
at this point. Yeah, it's
before
fine.
Kristian was born, what happened?
Yeah, not me. You think that's how I spell my name, with a C?
Oh, no, we're doing BK. It's a remix.
I was going to let it slide.
It's right there. It's like right next to your name, and you have a screen that you can see it now. It's horrible.
Hey, I said I was an asshole as soon as we started this.
You did. You owned it. We are here. We're going to be owning it. We got a lot going on. People have been asking. There's like, when are you getting people back in studio? We're finally doing it. And as you saw last night, Steph and I, we had the Sith Council, and now we got Big Thing. Lots going on. And as I mentioned for Brett, did you see the Spider-Man movie yet?
No,
not a girl.
Damn
Perfect.
it,
That's why you're here.
but I brought the Drake's Charted, Drake's
Oh,
Charted.
you brought Uncharted? You brought it back?
I brought it to my table and left it at the table so I could get the old Spider-Mans from you, but I have not seen the Spider-Man.
Wait, don't you have where the hell is it? Was it on HBO? Where did I watch it?
Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man?
Not the new one, but
okay.
the other ones. Because we were doing our rewatch, and I don't remember where I didn't watch it on Blu-rays. I watched it on where the hell did I may have rented it on Amazon. I don't remember.
Stars, I think, has some.
You're right. That's exactly where I watched it.
Yeah.
Good call. Do you have Stars, Brett?
Yeah.
I don't have the stars, no.
Well, then go fuck yourself. How about that?
But guess what? It's my birthday today.
Is it really?
Oh my God, I
Yeah.
Is it really?
Well, today the airing of the
Right. Okay. So I was wondering.
Yeah.
So why,
Pisces.
and Kate's. So
oh, that's right.
happy birthday to me. I'm on new medication. It's making me feel like don't you?
I knew it because when today I get a text, let me in. That was it.
Oh my God.
Just a little.
Be here.
I'm here. It's good to have you back. Oh, everybody back, and it's good to have the Schmodown back.
Yeah.
It's moving. It's cooking. For those people, if you've never seen the Schmodown before, you should check it out. It's the brand new season. If you used to watch, but you couldn't take the digital era, that shit's gone. It's all about studio stuff now. It's fun. So please go and check that out on the Movie Trivia Schmodown channel. It is the Schmodown, the World Championship of Movie Trivia. Okay, but the reason I bring up the Star Wars, the Spider-Man, is I know Steph has seen it. So you have like the multiverse and everything that's moving now. They're focusing so much on that, and the events of Spider-Man now are playing into the multiverse. The stuff that happened in WandaVision playing into it. And in that, did you watch the trailer for Multiverse yet? The last one, Steph?
Yes.
So you heard PAtrick Stewart's voice?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. It's pretty undeniable. You can't miss his voice.
No.
But I think we've been waiting for a while to see if we're going to get newer X-Men movies in this newer phase of Marvel, and maybe if it's going to combine with Sony and how it's going to work. I love X-Men as the property. I haven't really liked any movie other than Logan, really.
You like First Class?
First Class is okay. Yeah, First Class is good.
Dare you.
I like them. They're just not great. They're not mind-blowing. But I've been waiting for the X-Men to come back, and if this is the introduction with PAtrick Stewart, hell fucking yeah.
I don't think it is the introduction. No, not for that. I think he's going to play into this. The rumors are that it's like this. I forget what the hell they are. Kind of like the Illuminati, that where they're on the whatever it might be for time. And I think the rumor is that Tom Cruise at one point was going to play Iron Man before Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, yeah.
But he wanted to show his face more, and they didn't want to do it, and they wanted too much money, whatever it was, and it didn't work out. So the rumor is that he's going to be back as Tony Stark, or he's going to play Tony Stark in this side of it. John Krasinski has been rumored to play Mr. Fantastic, but they're all variants, and I think he's going to be a variant also, because I think when they finally reboot X-Men from Marvel, they're going to recast everyone. And I think that it's the right move to do, because it's a younger Professor X, it's a younger Wolverine. You're going to see that Hugh Jackman's one of the best superhero characters maybe casting all time.
Yep.
But you remember when he was cast, he wasn't the version of Wolverine everyone thought he was going to be, because Wolverine in the comic books, small, bulkier, I mean, he's pretty bulky, but still, Hugh Jackman's like 6 feet, 6'1", whatever the hell he is. So to see that kind of wolvie berserker, a new Wolverine, that absolutely could happen. The new cast that's going to happen, plus Fantastic Four is going to happen. But I think the idea that PAtrick Stewart's going to be in this movie says a lot about who else could show up with these fun cameos.
Yeah, that's true. I just am so focused on X-Men coming back, but
Yes.
That's true. If we do get the X-Men, I would definitely there's no reason other than it would be so sad not to see like Michael Fassbender get his own movie finally, because he's also one of the best castings in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that makes sense. That will be weird though, because if people don't know like Tom Cruise was supposed to be Iron Man, do you think there need to be any explanation, or we're just like they're variants because Loki kind of set that up?
Loki set it up. The Spider-Man set it up. There's a lot of different. I mean, like you look at the different versions of people that have been in. That's what the rules have been set up in this new phase of Marvel. Is that anybody could be a variant of someone, and I think that they set it up well enough. It's the same thing with John Krasinski. No one knows that he's Reed Richards, but in this particular one, he could be. And again, this is all speculation and just rumor, but PAtrick Stewart pretty much confirming that was his voice inside of it, I think confirms a lot of those scenes. And when we had Rob Liefeld on, he was like, believe pretty much a lot of the shit that you've heard. Whether he's seen stuff or not, I have no idea. But I think that what it does with X-Men in general is that it's going to open it up, because I think eventually X-Men is going to take over the majority of what we're watching in Marvel.
Yeah, there's just way more characters.
Yeah, and you can do it not even in film. Like look at everything they've doing already with Marvel on TV, with secondary characters like Moon Knight, who people are super excited about, and nobody even knew who Moon Knight was. And now people are so pumped about this. When they finally start diving into X-Men movies, they can then start to do X-Men TV shows. And I would imagine just look what they're doing with Obi-Wan. They could do like a 6-episode run with Wolverine. And now, did you guys hear the news yesterday with Disney? That
they're going a little
adulty. They're showing
adulty.
Yeah, they're going to show just old school Jenna Jameson videos. That's all they're going to show the whole time through.
Yankees.
I'm so glad they're doing that. I think it's so limiting of Disney Plus to only, if you're going to own Marvel now and Star Wars, I think those are properties that can go kid way but can have more adult content and should. And I think that there should be both options.
Well, and it's not, and it's obviously not just, you're right, but I think Marvel's got more of a chance, obviously, when you look at Daredevil. If you guys have ever seen Daredevil, that's pure rated R. And if you look at the Kingpin that was in
Jessica Jones.
Yes. When you look at the Kingpin that was in Daredevil, when he literally decapitates somebody with a car door, as opposed to the cartoon version that we got in Hawkeye. Being able to switch back up and go into that, and then it also now allows the opportunity that Deadpool could be the Deadpool that we all know, right? Star Wars, I don't think you're ever going to see a change. I think that the brand itself is locked. You might get similar to like maybe a Moon Knight, where if they want to go ballsy enough to a PG-13 and get a, whether it's Acolyte or Darth Bane or Plagueis or something along those lines, they could do it. But I think that the reason that they're doing this more rated R content is because if you want to compete with Netflix and you want to compete with HBO Max, there's only so much you can be the family brand.
Yeah.
Because there's more stuff, because Netflix has a lot of family stuff that you can watch, and then there's a lot of just stuff that like you can find. What's that one that everyone's talking about? Meet the Millers or whatever. Not Meet the Millers. What's the one the animated one that just came out?
Oh, Mitchell versus Machines.
Yes. So you got Mitchell versus Machines, which is a Netflix thing, and then you skim on over, and there's Ozark, which is not for children. So it can work, and I think the thing that I'm curious, Steph, where you think here is with Moon Knight coming out. I think that they're putting these restrictions on 2 weeks before Moon Knight comes out. That's got to fare pretty positive for the content of what Moon Knight's probably going to be pretty dark.
Yeah, it makes sense with the cast that we have, the character that Moon Knight is, that they would do that. But I was okay if they were going to go more of what we've seen in the Loki and WandaVision direction. But it makes it's a dark character.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're announcing it, I don't think is a coincidence. It has to do with the next property coming out from Marvel.
I think so too. Brett, have you seen the trailer yet for Moon Knight?
Moon Knight, yeah.
And what do you think?
It's badass.
I think it's also the idea that they're kind of not playing, but they're tackling the issues of mental health and the things that he's got to go through. Like he's got multiple personalities or whatever it is. It's
maybe he's on new meds too.
Yeah, he might be too.
He might be.
Or needs some.
Yeah, that's right.
Does he want to feel like he has to puke all the time?
maybe that's what gives him his edge.
Yeah,
he's got his edge. He's got to feel like he's puke all the time. But I think that what they're doing very well. Everybody was curious of what the Marvel phase was going to look like after Endgame, because it was, well, what are they going to do now? You got Tony Stark is dead, Captain America is old. What are they going to do? And then they start to set this stuff up where they're taking big swings with all this multiverse shit, and I love the idea of the multiverse. I love the idea of where you can go with it, what you can do, because now if you look at what they've done thus far, they've already made all of the Sam Raimi and Andrew Garfield movies part of the MCU, which is right away a smart move. And now with the addition of PAtrick Stewart and these other people, those movies, the X-Men movies, are now going to be part of the MCU. They're all going to kind of connect. So it's something that they've wanted to do for years when they didn't have the money and they had to sell off X-Men and Spider-Man to those studios, and they got Fantastic Four back. You're going to over the next like 10 years, you're going to start to see Marvel. They're going to run out of stuff. They ain't going to run out of shit.
No. But I'm curious now that we're seeing, like, it started with Into the Spider-Verse kind of after Endgame, and then we got the last Spider-Man that obviously connected universes, and I feel like everything is going in that direction. Do you think that there's going to be any standalone stories moving forward, or do those even work?
Yeah, I mean, look, Moon Knight's standalone story.
You don't think we're gonna have other characters come in?
You mean like, so will people cross over at all?
Yeah.
I think that it's almost like you kind of have to, because even with Iron Man, the first one, once they set that up, it's been like a big television show where Nick Fury shows up, all these people show. It just shows it's the comic book nature of it that everything's connected. So I always think someone's going to show up one way or another, the same way that like Kingpin showed up in the Hawkeye. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I guess it also makes more sense because that's what they had to do in Eternals, which is like backtrack as why the Eternals didn't step in. Because if you have a universe where we know everyone exists at the same time, and you don't connect them. It's like, where were they when this was when the world was ending?
Yeah, and I think that they were, and they even say that's that much in Eternals where they brought that up. So anyway, a lot of great stuff happening now.
Quick, I think it's going to be a weird thing for job security because it's like you've got all these multiverses and like, we got a different Iron Man now.
I know.
Okay.
It's true. It's true. And I'm telling you, like, so here's a question, because I know we've all been on the opposite sides of this. Where when the James Dean conversation was coming up about replacement, you guys were on the other side of it, right? After seeing what they did with Luke Skywalker in the Mandalorian or Boba Fett, right? After seeing what that looks like now, you guys still on that page, or do you think that, hey, we can still? Did you see the footage of the new one?
He's alive. He's
one day he won't be, and they're going to be using. I'm telling you,
if he signs off, I think my biggest thing is just the whole taking of somebody that has no say in it.
But if the estate signs off on it,
I don't know.
You don't
with
know?
the James Dean thing, it was that they wanted to create new movies with him as an actor in it, right?
That's what they did with young Mark Hamill.
Yeah, but that's a character. Like, that's the only difference to me is the character.
All right, so then let's take James Dean out of it. So if Bruce Willis, if they got some actor to play young John McClane, but they take his face out of it and they put young Bruce Willis's face on it and give him a movie, and someone comes and does his voice, and you get someone who's more locked in to play John McClane, and you can the technology, if it's the way it is now, imagine what it's going to be like in 10 years from now. Oof. And it just looks like a young John McClane. The guy's acting better than Bruce Willis, but Bruce Willis has signed off on it. What do you guys think?
Do we need to do it?
I mean, just because we can, do we need to?
I'm just look. It's the Luke Skywalker thing, because eventually they're gonna do.
Luke looked sick.
He looked great.
Yeah,
I mean, compared to what he did, you look so much different in Mandalorian to that. And then you look at what they're gonna. The deepfake stuff is gonna keep popping up in Star Wars, and everybody who's watching it is gonna be so excited about it. But the second they start doing that to other actors, like, I'll tell you right now, if they had this type of technology, they probably would have held back on the Solo movie, and they probably would have said, "Well, why don't we wait for a second?
Yeah.
And maybe if we're gonna do a young Solo, maybe we can actually get somebody who sounds like him, acts like him, and then just put his fucking face on."
Yeah,
I think it's just a little scary.
It is, as an actor, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure you feel that way.
I mean, I'm done, but
don't say that.
I'm saying for the ones that work.
Do you not see? I want you to move your head for a second. Move it out of the way. Do you not see that record in the back?
What are you talking about? Your time is done.
My time is
I
now.
see nothing but gold.
Gold. The flouse. There's a reason that Steph Sabraw is obsessed with the flouse.
Are you
That
kidding?
guy next to
There's
him.
only one guy I've ever flirted with on screen. It's the flouse.
The flouse. That's
And
it.
you can check the receipts.
That is it. And there's a cartoon for you guys. It's so good.
Oh my god, it was so.
Cartoon is
made me
great.
like-
It's really good. Anyway, so all that stuff coming out is really it's great. Marvel has a lock on the TV right now. They got a lock on the movies, and the flip side of that is DC right now, who's also, I mean, this is a flip side, who also killing it, because you got. This recording this tomorrow, or I guess tonight, the Batman comes out. You saw it, Steph. We didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
We didn't talk. And
No. Oh, I really enjoyed it.
How dare you?
It's not perfect to me, but
Yeah.
I really loved it, and
Yeah.
it was more so I'm happier the fact that all I want is more Bruce Wayne, more of Robert Pattinson's Batman, and that's a good feeling to leave a movie with.
Absolutely. My review of it was, I thought it was a really good movie. It did need to be almost 3 hours long, in my opinion. And some people are like, all movies don't have to be 2 hours. And I said, I get it. I like 3 hour movies. Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
I love 3 hour movies. Sometimes movies just don't have to be, in my opinion. If you guys love every single frame of the movie, then that's great. For me, it was like some shots went on a little too long. But the detective story, I've been waiting for that for Batman forever, and it's there. It is, Brett, when you see it, dude, because you're a Fincher fan.
Yeah, yeah.
It's got so much Fincher, and that's the stuff that I really loved. Like all the Fincher stuff that they have, and Colin Farrell's out of control good, Paul Dano's so good. There's so much great going on in this movie. The score is incredible.
Colin Farrell's unbelievable,
unrecognizable, and I didn't know, Steph, if I wanted, if I was like, well, what are we gonna do with a Penguin TV series? Now after the movie, I'm like, give me a Penguin TV series.
Yeah, because that's. Speaking of the photo behind you, that's mafiosa.
It is absolutely.
Shit.
And speaking of that, and what I mentioned, Steph, one of our biggest critiques with Boba Fett, when we saw that trailer, they set it up the way that they cut that trailer was this was going to be a hardcore kind of gangster story, and people are like, well, it's Star Wars, yeah, but you look at what he did with Bib Fortuna, he whacked him, and you thought we were going to get more moments like that, and it really wasn't that. It was more about a redemption story for Boba Fett. This movie in the trailer is everything that they pitched you that it was. It's
absolutely
everything.
That's so true. And it's also one of the few comic book movies that is genuinely sexy to me. Like it has like sexy undertones.
Yeah.
The chemistry between Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz is
off the charts.
It's off the charts. Yeah. I want her to come back too.
Yeah,
she killed it.
My two biggest critiques of the movie. And it definitely could, and the good news, what HBO Max is going to do now is apparently after 45 days, it's going to be on HBO Max.
Dope.
Which is great. And I think that's a great plan overall.
Yeah,
I'm definitely going to watch it again.
Me too.
And I'll probably wind up liking it because there's so much about it that I really enjoyed. My two biggest critiques, as I said, was the length of the film, and then the ending. When you put it together. The ending of the movie, when you put it together with everything else that is so fantastic about the detective story, the film noir stuff, the seven undertones, the sexiness and the chemistry, the ending of the movie seems very much like a comic book movie ending and seems a little out of place from what they just set up.
From what they were setting up. Yeah, because it kind of felt like outside of the classic comic book step 1, step 2, step 3 movies where you hit, like Marvel has a formula and it works for them, but I think what is so strong about DC is that they don't.
No.
And what's so strong about DC and making me look at them differently, because it used to be like Marvel all the way, and then now I'm like, I love that DC has made its bed with HBO Max and is like, we are okay getting dark, raunchy, cussing, being sexy, whatever.
They did it with Joker also.
Yeah. It's but I agree with your criticisms, and I also would say I thought that there was not enough dialogue for Bruce Wayne's character.
Yeah, no, there was, and we're doing a full spoiler on this on me, Winston, and Coy on Monday, and I'm putting my spoiler review that'll drop over the weekend. So I don't want to get too much into it because I know people are going to see it.
Mine drops in 45 days.
It does. Okay, that makes sense.
Let us know.
On this show.
Be waiting.
On this show. So there's a lot to it, and I can't wait. And this is a movie people are like, well, should I not see it in the theater? You absolutely should see this in the theater. This is a movie you should absolutely see. As I mentioned, I really enjoyed the film. There's just a couple things that I had some issues with. But the other thing, Steph had mentioned what they're doing on HBO Max. Please tell me that you two guys have watched Peacemaker.
I'm not finished.
Oh, you're crazy. Oh,
I know.
Finished.
I know. It's fucking awesome.
Have you not watched it, Brett?
No.
Dude, you would love this show.
So, like, Eagly alone is your spirit animal.
Brett, you would love this show. Did you watch The Suicide Squad?
Yes.
And did you like it?
Yeah.
You would. This show is, and I love The Suicide Squad. This show's better than
and I was excited for the.
You think?
Overall together, yeah. It's
okay,
like,
maybe I need to get to it because I heard the finale rips. Like, it's good.
Because and I love, I love The Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
The reason why I like it, it's just you're so attached to all the characters, and you laugh so much in the Suicide Squad, but you're so attached to everybody. And Vigilante is hilarious, Brett. This is so your sense of humor. I can't believe you're not watching.
Peacemaker in Suicide Squad was just I was dying.
I can't believe you haven't watched this show. You will love this show. I've
been studying TikTok, man. Trying to get my.
Have you been doing TikTok?
No, I've been watching and writing down bits and things. I've been trying to create my ideas, and I have a bunch of them already.
All right, smart.
I can't wait.
I know, me too.
But the algorithm is weird. Like
you got to
watch
post
like 600 Dua Lipa videos, and
Yeah.
suddenly everything's clouded with
Dua Lipa.
Yeah. I heard
How
3.
does that happen?
Yeah, I heard 3 times a day.
3 times a day.
Oh yeah, 3. I need to get on that team too.
Steph posts a lot And it's a good, that's not a criticism.
I'm trying to. I just started this month, so I'm trying to post at least once a day. But ideally, I would get to 3 times a day.
What we're doing right now, we have our Schmodown TikTok has been, so David Michael Frank and Ben Bateman have been handling our TikTok over there, and it's if you haven't been following it, you should, because it's got a lot of great bits and stuff from trivia, and we put some Batman stuff up there. It did really well. I started a TikTok account and said, I'm too busy for this shit. I can't do it. It's just too hard, because you just heard what Steph said, and you got to post all the damn time. Yeah, I mean, so, but that's you'd be great at it. But I'm telling you, but that's not an excuse to not watch Peacemaker. it really isn't. You would love it.
All this to say,
yeah.
Well, honestly, no, I have been like taking a lot of time and writing stuff, and like I'm building up this stockpile of ideas that now I need to pull the trigger on.
But hold on for a second. I want you to stay right there, and don't fucking lie to me.
Yeah.
How many of these kitchen cooking shows you've been watching while you were doing all your TikTok?
None.
Nothing? You're not watching anything?
No, we haven't really been watching anything hardly at all. We watched some murder show where some mom killed all her kids and her
so that's definitely
with
with your anxiety, and that's what you're watching. Are you out of your mind?
She poisoned their Coke with
it's like
antifreeze.
6 cents. Oh my god!
Why would you do that?
That's no wonder you changed your medication.
And the Olympics were on. We did that for a long time.
Yeah. Okay. None of that.
None of that matters.
So how many episodes are you into Peacemaker, Steph?
I'm 5 episodes.
Did you see the scene where they're talking about all the celebrities?
Oh yes,
the best.
It's so meta.
The whole thing was improv. The whole thing was improv. Yeah, the whole thing was improv. Like I talked to when I had Freddie Stroma on this show, who plays Vigilante.
Yeah, it did feel very authentic.
I was talking about that scene. He's like, dude. So, spoiler for people who haven't seen it. It's just a bit of the show. But Brett, so they're talking about this particular thing happens where Peacemaker's mad about it. So this guy that he's working with. He's like, well, why'd you do that when you could have literally had done it to anyone else? And he's like, I couldn't think of anyone else. And he's like, you couldn't have thought of anyone else? He goes, all right, Mario Lopez, blah, 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 blah. He's running through all these names, and you're like, oh my God, and it's hilarious.
It's like a 5-minute bit.
It's hilarious. The show is so funny. What I love about the show and what they got me with was when you first start watching the show, whatever the main plot of the show is, they'll be going and they'll be talking about that plot, and then 2 characters will start talking. And if they're like, okay, well, there's this water bottle, and it's a blue water bottle. It's like a blue water bottle. They shouldn't have blue water bottles, and they'll go on for that water bottle for like 5 minutes of just pure nonsense and start at these random facts, and you're like, well, how often are they going to do that? I hope they don't derail themselves. And then you start to root for them to derail themselves.
Yeah, it's like Family Guy bits. Like they just don't stop and they keep going.
It's so funny. It's such a funny show. It was one of the best shows I've seen in a long time. And the opening, that music.
Oh yeah.
It's the only show that
it's a better version of Hawkeye musical. Right,
because
because it's actually like raunchy and funny.
It's the opening credits of that show is the only show that I don't skip the credits, and I watch it every time. I'm telling you, Brett, you got for next week you got to watch at least one.
All right,
you got to watch one. So, and just to let people know, Brett and Steph are going to be back on Big Thing. We got people back in the studio now.
5 days a week.
We're excited about it. Yeah, well, don't forget about SEN. By the way, SEN is on Patreon. You guys we're not too far away from 4 episodes a month. At the moment, I think we have about 360 patrons on that SEN. Now, once we get to 500, there will be 4 episodes a month. Seems like you guys are having a lot more fun now on the show with not having to worry about the donations. Oh, yeah. Is that true?
Yeah, it's really fun. Yeah, it's like the core crew.
And then you'll sometimes go like, oh, nobody's sending in any. You forget.
Like, do you
PTSD.
Like
PTSD.
I need a compliment. Interrupt me.
It's the truth. I mean, now you have it's just it's basically like this show now. So people who were wondering, I stopped watching SEN Live because the robot got to be too much. Well, you can go to the Patreon, and there's so many different benefits that we have now on that Patreon. Not only would you get SEN Live right now 3 times a month, We also have the watch-alongs that we do. We did The Thing, myself and Dorina last time. We did a live episode of The Big Thing, myself and Kate. Next month, we're probably going to do a watch-along of the Mask of the Phantasm. I've never seen it before, so
I haven't
Batman
seen
one.
that.
Never seen it, so we'll probably do that one. So there's a lot of great tiers over there, and obviously the Schmodown Patreon is kicking up, and we're doing some more shit over there. Anything else that we should be talking about as far as TV, or I guess I've never been as checked out of award season than I am this year.
Right?
And it's not because of the movies. I just don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, it's
About who gets acknowledged. Who
I didn't
I
wins.
don't
even
care about these awards anymore.
SAG awards. I didn't watch them. That's the
care.
one I usually do because I'm like, oh, that's the actors voting, and now
I think there's a reason why consistently every year the ratings plummet on these shows. They plummet. Like I think last year's Oscars was like the least watched one in like 40 years or something.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably be the same thing this year. It's just I don't think who cares, and they don't make it accessible to the everyday casual viewer. That's the reason why the views are going down on that show, is because it's always been a thing where most people don't know the movies in general that are being nominated. And a lot of the movies that have been nominated, like Coda, I just watched recently. Coda
Best
is
fucking movie of the
it's
year.
great.
It's like
Coda's great.
Yeah, that's my favorite of
Oh,
2021.
Coda is great,
Yeah.
and so I don't remember the guy's name that was nominated. The father who was the first Steph actor who was nominated. That motherfucker should win.
Facts.
He's great. Now, I'm not saying that people shouldn't be acknowledged for their work. I think giving the awards themselves should be acknowledged. But if you're going to start slashing and cutting like editors and shit away from it, just cut the whole damn show.
Yeah.
Just announce who you should still honor it, and you say, and you do like a big streaming thing for it, and you say here's all the awards of the people. Don't waste television time on this shit anymore.
They just don't know who they want to be in this new era of media, and it shows. And I think Perry, she was on World Girls, she had a really excellent point that she's like, I don't mind them changing the way they do things to get more viewership, but when you cut categories and then you now diminish what it means to win in those categories, that's fucked up. Like that's not an Oscar then.
Totally agree. That's why they should just slash the whole motherfucker. Just slash it. And just make it like a streaming thing. If you want to check out like streaming, do the whole thing. Have a blast. Have a streaming, put it on either a streaming service or put it on the internet and say, here's the stuff we're gonna do. When you do this whole big, it's not 1935 anymore. It's not 1975. These awards, they don't mean the same thing to the general public the way that they used to. They just don't. People don't care the same way that they used to. To people inside, like the acknowledgement of the work should be honored. And I'm not saying take away awards for that. I think the big to-do, they can't figure out who they want to host it anymore. That's a disaster.
Yeah, if they want to be
year.
funny, if they want to be serious.
It's too much. And then because of it, it's like people, and right now, especially because of everything going on in the world, what people do a lot of the time, that where we are, especially in this nation, is that there are people that want to go and win their awards and then give speeches about the world and not talk about the award that they just won. They want to talk about everything inside of what their moral high ground is. There are people that don't want to hear that. There are people who do want to hear it, and then there's people who don't want to hear it. And there's people who say, well, they should be using that platform to make a statement. It's like, they also have Twitter accounts. They also have other things that they can do. If you have to be consistent of what are you trying to promote? Are you trying to promote an entertaining show that everybody can watch? Or are you promoting, like, what's the show? That's the question. It's
Watch Ricky Gervais's last one, Golden Globes.
The Golden
Globes,
Globes, right.
Yeah, where he's like, get your little award and fuck
and
off.
fuck off.
Fuck
You know,
off.
like, you work for Netflix.
But that's right. So, and it's like,
hilarious.
and again, it is. Oh, and I don't agree with the sentiment of like, oh, all you're doing is acting. You shouldn't get an awards. That's bullshit.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's bullshit. Like there's a lot of
No,
work.
it's art.
It is art, and there's a lot that goes into it. What I'm saying is be consistent in what your show is and what do you want your show to be. If you want to make it an actual show, and I think that it's just too old school right now with putting it on, was it on ABC or whatever it is, and then people like, they wonder every year why the ratings are going down. It's not because you're putting in best editor and everything, the show's too long. It is too long, but that's not why. It's because people can't connect to it. Like the average person who just, like I talked to my buddy John Pinto, who I brought up in this show many times. And like, I'm going to try John right now. And I got him once. I got him once before. And I'm going to talk to him at the awards, and he doesn't watch the awards. And what he said about the awards is he just doesn't want to hear celebrities giving speeches about politics all the time. That's not what and he doesn't know half the movies.
Yeah, I mean, there's just way too much.
Yeah, so there's just a lot. So I'm gonna call John Pinto and see if we get John Pinto.
I like his name. John Pinto.
He might not pick up. That might be working.
Work.
Working. That's what we're doing right now. I didn't pick up.
Pick up.
Yeah, sometimes he picks up, sometimes he doesn't. That's all right. But either way, and I'm curious. I think that, as I mentioned, I still think there should be awards. I still think that they should be presented in one way. But I think, is anyone really going to care if there was like, okay, tomorrow at 10 a.m. they're going to start to announce. Remember what they did with Disney Plus recently when they did and it was a shitty way that they did it. But with Disney Plus, when they did their announcements, they were tweeting out all their announcements. Do that with the awards. Who cares? Why do you have to see it?
They do that with the nominations, and I feel like they get more viewership on that.
That's what I mean. And you get more engagement from it too. It's why, because we want to see someone show up in a dress.
Or they should just film the entire thing, pick the best bits, and then do like a produced award show.
You're still gonna have where you edit it together.
You edit it so there's
it.
not like that like stupid space of crowd work that no one gives a fuck about.
But it's also calling it what it is too. It's like people are very easily offended these days too. So like you can't take risks on side of certain comedic bits and certain things too. I just don't. And it's not just the Academy Awards. Look, Golden Globes is gone. They don't even do it anymore because
MTV Music Awards or Video Music Awards used to be the most fun ever. And now no one cares.
Nobody cares. So it's like it's nobody cares about it. I don't think anyone is saying you shouldn't acknowledge your work. But I just don't think. I think people
nobody cares what you're wearing.
It's true.
No.
It's true.
The problem
in this, nobody cares about excess.
I'm paying $8 for gas.
Yeah,
I'm paying $8 for gas.
Oh my god,
and
gas.
You want me to give her? Well, what are you wearing? Fuck off. I don't care what you're wearing. You know, why don't you sell it and buy me 4 tanks of gas?
You're wearing my rent for a year.
I do care what they're wearing, but I also see your points.
Yeah, but couldn't you see that on a website?
Well,
Steph?
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Like, we have too much access to everyone.
Yeah.
I know what all of my favorite celebrities are doing and wearing on the daily. And so it's not anything, I don't get anything that I wouldn't get every day at these awards other than seeing who wins. Because, like, even when they have, like, for the music awards, like, performances, I can see performances on YouTube any second of the day that I want.
Right.
So there's just like back in the day, it was like, this is the chance you get to see the stars that didn't have social media. You have no idea what they act like off the screen.
Right.
Now I know everything about them.
Because you're always locked into it and you can see for sure. But I think that if the interaction on social media of like when you have these interviews of people and then you know whether it's engagement, what do you think of this outfit, blah blah blah.
The red carpets.
You can advertise it, all that kind of shit. It to me that works so much better than watching this pre-show and all this shit. And it's like, who cares? And as far as the other part of it, when you're like. We're in a different spot because when we see these movies that they're mentioning, we at least have heard the majority of them.
Yeah.
Right. Again, using people like a John Pinto, who when he's like, I'm going to tune in, and he hears the best picture nominees, he's not going to know any of them. So when they come up, and then he's like, the whole point of it is you're supposed to be on the edge of your seat, going, all right, shit, I think that person's going to win, but are they? And it's such a small audience that cares because of the distribution of it. Nobody really, I don't know, maybe it's changing now because of streaming. I don't know, but I just don't care anymore. I don't care.
I know a lot of people in the industry are upset that they don't air the bottom line. What do you call it?
Below the line.
Below the line. But I mean, the sad truth is Joe Joe Blow doesn't care about
give a
those
shit.
either.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
they want to see the stars. So yeah, let's give them that somewhere else for the people that do care about
But that's
that.
why I say you got the whole thing.
Yeah.
You got the or don't put it on prime time.
No, it
television.
should. Or yeah, tell the big actors that if it's not going to do it anymore if we don't show the other.
Just stream it.
And
Stream
some
it
of the movies, like
somewhere.
last year, Minari was one of my favorite movies of the year, and it wasn't even available unless you paid $20 to watch it before the award season.
Right.
I don't even think it's still available unless you pay $20. Like, how can the person give a fuck about this award?
They're not going to know, and it's like what they hope they're advertising is because everybody's talking about it now. They're going to go out and see it, and that it boosts it. It's advertising, so it boosts it, but it not so much that it's like in the public conversation, like everybody knows what it is. It's like these because again, there's so much shit out there. There's so much content, and I also think that and this will never happen, but the Academy should loosen up and start nominating bigger commercial movies in the Best Picture stuff. That's how you'll get more people to watch because they know the movies that they like and that they're watching.
Yeah,
not
more
gonna
pop
get nominated.
culture movies.
No, it's all shit it's all and a lot. And
it's Alex Marzocchi's day.
It is.
To shine.
It is. But the other side of it too is that like every time and my wife makes a great point when we watch this stuff is that Coda Coda being a different version. Why I actually hope that Coda wins. Most of the movies, whether it's a biopic, it's dark, it's dreary. It makes you, a lot of these movies don't make you feel good, and you're like, oh, the world sucks right now. It sucks with all the shit going on in the world, whether it's the stuff going on with Russia and Ukraine, whether it's the pandemic. It sucks. And the last thing I want to do is watch a movie and go, ugh, let's go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like Coda was great. Coda was a feel-good movie, and it was an emotional, just family movie with a really good story, inspiration, like great movie.
Also, like cut exceptionally
Yeah,
well.
it really is great. I mean, did you see it yet, Brett?
No, I
it's
tried
really
at the
good.
trailer.
Yeah,
great.
it's gonna be the biggest tearjerker, but
Yeah.
in a good way. It's,
In a good
it's
way.
happy tears.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a scene with her and her
Their
dad,
dad. Oh
at
my
by the car, right?
Yes.
That scene will get you in a good way.
Yeah.
It is, especially as a dad.
But
It
it's
is
the
a great
editing,
scene.
Kristian. I know you picked up on this before. It's the premise. This
Yeah.
isn't like spoilery. It's about a deaf family or a hard of hearing family, and she, the whole scene before is silent, and then that scene is with audio,
Yeah.
and it's like,
I know it's a great movie. What's I don't even know what's nominated for Best Picture. I'm so checked out for let's see. Okay, I'll bring it up right now.
yeah,
I'll,
not Dune. I remember that.
no, Dune wasn't it? Or did it
No.
get? Oh, it was for something
Just
else.
director.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. It's like Dune is so much better than a lot of these
Yeah.
movies. So I didn't see Nightmare Alley. So I didn't see it.
I saw it. It was It was good.
Don't Look Up. I bailed on. I don't need to be preached to. So I bailed on it.
It's fine.
Dune was nominated.
Oh, then he didn't get nominated for
Okay.
director. That's
Yeah.
what it was.
Drive My Car. I didn't see. I don't know what that is.
It's not available yet. It's a 3-hour movie in a foreign language.
Okay.
Apparently, it's amazing, but it's not available.
So Belfast, I did see. And Belfast, I actually will retract some of my statements. I thought Belfast was going to be one of those dark and dreary movies that you looking like, oh, it's just going to be this kind of tragic thing. It's not. It's actually a pretty that one I should say is a pretty good movie.
So it's like the trailer, because the trailer makes it look depressing.
It's not. It's not depressing. Licorice Pizza. I definitely it's one of the most controversial movies this year too, and I actually enjoyed that movie. But there's a lot of people who didn't enjoy it. The Power of the Dog is another one. Good. It's good. I think it's going to win, and I think it's completely overrated.
Me too.
I think it's good.
Me too.
And it's a beautifully shot film, very well directed, but I think it's completely overrated. I think that it's like a film fan, like, the film nerd is just like, oh, The Power of the Dog's the movie you have to see. The lighting.
Yeah, it's super pretentious.
That's what I'm talking. Completely. West Side Story, I loved it, but it's not a feel-good movie at the very end. King Richard, I take back a lot of what I said here. I really do. As I look through these movies, King Richard, I loved, and it is a feel-good movie, and so is Coda. So it's just, I guess, the majority of the time, a lot of these movies.
I'm gonna have to see the color palettes of all of these
Yeah.
before I.
Make your decision.
Yeah, but I mean, but you look at Coda, and you look at King Richard, West Side Story. Power of the Dog, Licorice Pizza. Well, Licorice Pizza, no, and Belfast, no. Drive My Car, no, and Dune. These are all movies that are available to the public. Like King Richard was an HBO Max. I think a lot of the casual fans could definitely have seen that. West Side Story, I don't think anybody wanted to see because they all thought it was just a remake of the movie, which it wasn't. It was a remake of the musical.
And it's not available yet.
Yeah, it is. It's available on Disney Plus now.
When?
I think it just came.
Just came out? Okay, yeah.
And
then Coda's on Apple.
Coda's on Apple. So I don't know.
You can pay your SAG dues and then forget about your digital screeners and have them expire.
That's true.
That's another way to not
to do it.
watch.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I
Wait, the SAG Awards are now?
Now, I will tell you that I think that, I mean, even though, like I said, I retract some of my statements about the dreary, miserable stuff for being nominated this year, because out of those movies, not a lot of them are dreary, miserable, and some of them are accessible. But I still think that, and that's just the
Throw
the
a
best
Weekend
picture.
at Bernie's in there. We need
Right.
something.
Something. I mean, who knows? I don't know. I still stand by the fact that I just don't think we need televised award shows anymore. I mean, again, when I say televised, I mean the mainstream ABC network TV. There's so much content on streaming services that if you put the stream, because the metrics on that are just so much different of what constitutes as good viewership as opposed to trying to get network views. When was the last time you looked at an Academy Awards and said, "Oh, they did great, crushed it"? Doesn't happen anymore.
No.
Instead, to Steph's point, like you know what they're doing every day. They're on social media. It's not.
Right.
It's not this. It's not special anymore.
Nope,
There's
it's not.
nothing that's like, oh, there they are.
Right. It's not. So anyway, that's I like that conversation. That was a fun conversation.
Good.
I
That's
like
good.
I like
Mark
that.
it down.
I like
Let's
it.
record this one.
Yeah, we should. Did you guys see? It just came out. Well, at this recording today, but Bullet Train, the trailer.
No.
So this trailer looks fun, man. It looks like it's Brad Pitt, and he's on a train, and hence Bullet Train. But it's kind of got like a Seven Psychopaths feel to it, or what's the other one? Shit, the other one that I can't remember the name of it. It's got a Guy Ritchie tone for sure, and it looks really good. But it's kind of the same argument that I've been having. I think that we're in such a different place, and we were getting there before the pandemic. I think that people are so picky on what they're going to see in the movie theater because not only because of cost, but because there's so many options on streaming now. What constitutes as worth it for the theater? Like the Batman, that's worth it for the theater. Dune, that's worth it for the theater. The Marvel movies, the Star Wars movies, the DC movies, like all that stuff, it's worth it for the theater. These are the big kind of impact movies. These smaller movies, like that Liam Neeson movie that came out, this Blacklight movie that came out, it was terrible, right? It was terrible. And in 2009, I understand why you put it out right after Taken. The movie ate a big pile of dog shit. Not only did it eat dog shit like in the theater, it ate dog shit. I did a review on it. Nobody gave a shit about that review. Because like, what the fuck is that? And it's like because nobody cares about it, and especially when you could just tune into something like that, anything like that on Netflix. So I hope Bullet Train does well. But do you guys agree is there a place for movies like that in the theater anymore?
Not really, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think we've all talked about this and agree. I would love to see the day where these streaming services have their own theaters and then they can play movies that are smaller because they're making so much money. And I think like that could be fun. You know, you're seeing it and maybe there's a way that tickets are cheaper. If you have a subscription, you can go there and it's more of like a communal activity, which I think is the beauty of a theater. But in terms of like how many people are struggling just money wise, tickets are like $20 now. That's an hour of work for most people if you're making above minimum wage. And if you have kids, that's like a full day's work. So I wish we could preserve the theater as long as possible, and I hope we do. But you can't possibly get mad at people for not seeing a musical in theater if that's not their thing.
Right.
And look at I always go to this. Look at televisions now. I mean, if you've got a 72-inch flat screen, I don't. I mean, Steph does.
Brett hung mine up.
Why? That's a beautiful. We used to watch on a 4x3 tube television. That's why we went to the theater, because our home experience was so bad.
I love sitting in this office, putting the curtains up, closing it off because of my sound bar. The sound bar alone.
You can
I
pause,
need
you
to
can
get one of
pee,
those.
you can
Yeah,
do,
everything. The sound bar alone. Like I watched Dark Knight in here, and it was like just the sound of it. I was like, oh, I just got to chill. I sat back, relaxed, watched it, and I was like, man, it was just so much fun to be able to do that. And I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like it's just harder because money does come into play, but I just think because of and it's just too much of a risk, I think. It's why you get movies like Red Notice now, right, for Netflix, because they know that if you have the money that you're getting from subscribers and you can put the money into the budget to get these big stars and whether it's Knives Out and all these other things, to me, that's a better strategy because you have more of an option of people actually sitting back watching it, but it also then starts to take away from those movies like a Bullet Train or even to saying, well, if I can just watch Knives Out or a movie kind of similar at home, and it doesn't feel like that kind of big epic theater experience. Some people just want to go out still. I mean, I think that once we finally start to get back to real life, which it seems like we're getting closer to, but when I still think there's going to be those moments where people are like, I just want to go to the movies tonight. And what's playing right now? Oh, Bullet Train, what's that? I just think the problem with Bullet Train is that Bullet Train comes out in like June, and you've got all the big movies that are coming out during that time. So I hope it does well because it looks really fun. It looks really fun. It's a movie I'm pretty excited about.
You said Brad Pitt?
Yeah, Brad Pitt. Sandra Bullock is the voice in it, but you should watch the trailer.
I love Sandra Bullock.
It's really good. She's not.
She's like a her, like a
Siri.
Siri.
Yeah, kind of. She's kind of, but she. It's not. And Aaron Taylor Johnson is in it. So here's the stuff that's coming out. Let's see. We're talking about the summer, right? Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, that's going to dominate the entire month of May. Yeah, because you get Firestarter, DC League of Super Pets will do well for kids, and Top Gun comes out at the end. I think Top Gun will do well because nostalgia is working right now, and it just depends on how much money they spent on it and how much they think it's going to make. But I think Top Gun does really well.
That was supposed to come out forever ago.
A while ago. Yeah, well, but they stopped because what they. This is why I feel really good about Top Gun, because it was supposed to come out a long time ago, and they kept pushing it back because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And while other movies were putting all their big releases on streaming, they said, no, we're going to wait. So that means they have a lot of confidence in it.
Yeah.
That's at least, so that's the way I read it. What do you guys think about this one? Have you ever seen the first Top Gun, Steph?
No.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You got to watch that.
I do.
Watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely do. I've heard only great things about it. This is a Tom Cruise classic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been not great at watching Tom Cruise films, but I should. I've watched one Mission Impossible. I actually really liked it.
Which one did you watch?
I think I don't. This
don't
is
know.
probably
They're
a
kinda
really
blended
standard
together.
description, but they were on jet skis. And
I remember. I don't know, but there's so many. They do blend together, but they're really good.
did you watch The Kingsman?
I did.
What did you think?
So my review on that one, the first Kingsman, I love.
Yeah.
I love that one. Second one, I did not like at all. And I love Matthew Vaughn.
It was okay.
I
didn't hate it.
The reason I didn't like it is because I thought that the tone shifted dramatically, where the first one was such a nice blend where there were some serious moments, but it was like this kind of, there was some cartoony shit going on for sure. And it was a kind of a satire on the James Bond films and everything too. And it was just a great blend. The music was really good. It was great. The violence was out of control. That church scene. So it's a great movie. The second one, the very ending of the first movie, that tone is the entire tone of the second one, and it was too cartoony and over the top for me, and it became a complete goof. And I didn't like it. I thought, and Julianne Moore, who I love, I thought was the worst part of the whole movie, and I love her. And when you make Julianne Moore the worst part of a movie, you got problems. The third movie is so interesting to me because it's a war movie. Like a serious war movie with some deep history involved. Like, I'm a history buff, so like the whole assassination of the Archduke Ferdinand, they go into it, and they do all of that, and they change it up and they play with it, and then there are some of that Kingsman tone that pops in there that feels out of place, but of the serious war drama that they were making. So there's a lot that I liked about it. And it was kind of an inconsistent tone, but it was it was fun. It was fine.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I felt the same. It was
Yeah.
fine. I watched it with my family because we watch action films with if my dad's around, and it was fun. There's definitely some scenes where you're like, that's like fantastical bullshit,
Yes.
but okay. We're just gonna run through a line of bullets for 80 seconds shot.
That's what I'm saying. That's the inconsistency of tone, because they set you up. They give you certain rules. The rules are, this is like every other war movie you've seen or like real life. That's the rules. But then, like you just mentioned, then there's that scene
And like
with
Ray
Rasputin.
Fiennes is like running on wall.
Yeah, there's like it's just the tone is all over the place. It's just like it's two different movies in one, and there's some stuff that happens in the real drama that's great, and there's stuff that happens in the fantastical shit that's great. But it's just like.
Yeah.
It's just a weird blend that didn't necessarily work for me, but I saw my review. There were some people who really, really loved it.
Good.
So that's great.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah, good for them.
But where we were going before we talked about that, there was another
Bullet Train.
Oh no, Top Gun, and then Bullet Train. That was like 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
No context.
No, but
It's the story of my life.
James Dean.
We're talking about the movies, but Top Gun is one of those movies where it's not as consistent with the tone of these big movies that we're talking about, but it's still got that nostalgia. It's still got Tom Cruise, so it has a shot to do really well. And because they've been holding it off for a bit, I think it does really well, right?
Yeah.
June, you got Jurassic World, which is going to crush. It'll do really well. Lightyear, which will also do very well for kids.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, and I'm pumped to see it even more so. I was already, but I was so bummed for a while because I couldn't get my 4-year-old to watch any of the Toy Stories for the life of me. She was just, It was like I was trying to get her to eat broccoli. And I'm like, and I tried watching one of them with her. She's like, I don't like it. And she turned it off. And I was like, oh, I was bummed. And then she has this book, and she starts reading one of the stories, and it had Jessie the cowgirl and Buzz like doing these dances and everything, and she just loved it. And I was like, you want to give it another shot? And then she just fired through all 4 of them.
Oh, wow.
In like a week. So she loves it now, and now she really loves Toy Story. So when Lightyear comes out, my fingers crossed, and I still think that I'm probably pissing in the wind here, but I'm hoping that I can get her to. She still hasn't seen a movie in the theater yet. It's been my oldest saw one when she was like 2, like just about to turn 3, but the youngest hasn't seen one yet because of the stupid pandemic. Yeah. So I'm hoping I could get her to see that. Would be her first movie, but we'll see. Elvis, that trailer looked great.
Yeah. We didn't get to talk about that, but that was cool.
Elvis looked really good, and that was one of my most anticipated for Baz Luhrmann. So I think Elvis has a shot to do really well because it's Elvis.
Yeah.
And Elvis still sells tickets, man. Still sells tickets. July, Minions is probably going to do good for kids, and then Thor: Love and Thunder is going to take over July.
I can't wait for
No
Thor:
doubt.
Love and Thunder.
Yeah, and then the end of July, which probably will carry into August, will be Black Adam.
Yeah.
And that's going to, and it's again, the movie that we're talking about here, the big budget, whether it's Jurassic Park or DC with Black Adam or Marvel. And then August.
I hope Black Adam, I hope this is The Rock doing a John Cena for
DC.
Peacemaker.
Oh.
Like, I never really liked John,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, he's
I'm
just
with
like
you.
an okay, like it was like, it just was always John Cena. Like when I
Yeah.
saw him in Fast and Furious, I'm like, this is just John Cena.
Yeah.
Playing John
You didn't see him
Cena.
in the Fred movie?
Was he in the Fred movie?
Yeah, he played Fred's dad.
Are you kidding me?
Either the movie or the show.
You know
Yeah,
what's so
and
bizarre?
He lived in a refrigerator. He always
Oh my
popped
God.
up in a refrigerator. I
What?
think.
What's
Yeah.
so bizarre about that is I hadn't mentioned Fred in, I don't know, 5-10 years, right? Yesterday I was doing a video and Fred came up, and 2 times in 2 days Fred comes up.
Still making stuff and
Is he
doesn't
still?
do it in the weird voice or whatever, but still has tons, like millions and millions of
Well,
followers.
he built up.
Yeah,
a
it's
big,
Fred.
Yeah, it's Fred.
He was the first one I saw like merch popping up in like Toys R Us
Back
and
in the
stuff like
day, yeah.
him and JoJo Siwa.
Well,
Oh.
but Steph, you're right. The Rock though, I think had more of a catalog than I think he did.
No,
But-
100%. The Rock's been. I feel John Cena wouldn't be doing what John Cena's doing if it wasn't for The Rock.
Right.
Starting that phase of like having these wrestlers come in and becoming real actors. But I I think I haven't I always still see The Rock, and I'm liking the way DC is moving. So it would be just cool to see him.
He's gonna be a villain in this one
yeah.
too. So I mean, it's just, to me, has the opportunity to do what Arnold did back in '84 when he was the Terminator.
Yeah.
Because he's just coming off of Conan the Barbarian, this beloved bodybuilder, and then they made him the villain, which could have been detrimental to his career, and it was the opposite. So I would like to see that with The Rock. I think, he's played the villain, I think, once or twice, but not anything as memorable as this. And eventually you would assume that they probably turn Black. I don't know enough about Black Adam to know if he turns good or not. I assume that he does, but maybe I'm wrong. August doesn't seem to have shit coming out, anything like that worth notice. September is always usually
there,
pretty
God,
slow.
it's me, Margaret.
What is that? Is that something?
That's that old book. Right?
Oh, is it?
About
Okay.
getting your period.
Oh, well, there
That
you go.
sucks.
Well, October 7th is going to be Spider-Man again, Across the Spider-Verse Part 1.
Oh, I can't wait.
That's going to do really well. Halloween ends. Now, here's the thing with Halloween.
Oh no.
I know.
God.
The first Halloween, and I don't mean the very first one, but the one that came out in 2018, I enjoyed a lot. This second movie is one of the worst movies I've seen in a very long time. Halloween Kills. It was shit. Like, really bad. And I thought that we were in trouble because I said, they filmed it at the same time. Apparently they didn't. So hopefully they took some notes and they changed it up, because that second movie was god-awful. It was really bad.
Really bad.
It was really bad.
Evil
Yeah.
dies tonight.
That's right. November 4th, The Flash takes over, and that's going to be basically, with Michael Keaton coming back, that movie's going to destroy. You got Bee Gees movie, David O. Russell movie, Creed 3. November's stacked. November is stacked. Got The Flash, the Bee Gees, David O. Russell, Creed. That's great.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. December 16th, got Aquaman and Avatar going head to head. Interesting. So you got a pretty good slate there. And then apparently Knives Out 2 is coming out in fall on Netflix. I don't know what that is. There's a bunch of shit coming during 2022. Sherlock Holmes 3, they said? Really? Tomb Raider 2.
Tomb Raider 2, so is that with Alicia?
Vikander, yeah, that's what it sounds like. But
Sesame Street.
But Sesame Street was supposed to come. Sesame Street's been pushed back, man. Because there's another one my daughter's been getting into recently. But like January was supposed to come out, and there's no word on it. Trust me, I've been looking for that one.
What is it? What is it?
It's a movie. It's got, who the hell is? I think Anne Hathaway is in it.
So like a Muppets.
It's Anne
but
Hathaway.
so it's not like a documentary type.
No. It's a movie.
Oh, okay.
It's a movie. And I'm gonna take. That's the beauty, is that your kids are too old now for Sesame Street, and like my oldest is definitely too old for it, but I still got a shot to watch a Sesame Street movie in the theater with my 4-year-old, and that's going to be.
I'll go.
Yeah, you can come with us. You can come with us. But that's it, everybody. That's I think we talked about a lot of great stuff here today. We're back in studio. We are back. Make sure you check out both Steph and Brett on SEN Live on the SEN Patreon. The link is in the description for that. So make sure you do that for sure. Don't forget about that. If you didn't check it out already, Steph and I did an episode of Sith Council, and that is on the channel. Also, make sure that you are showing just a little bit, right? Show some class, will you? Show some class, and make sure that you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button, like it, all that shit. And
I wish I knew.
that's basically it. I wish I knew. I don't know shit. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Brett and Steph, they'll be back next week. I hope you guys will be back next week. Keep on commenting and check out the movie Trivia Schmodown. Please, if you've never seen it before and you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, go to the channel. I'll put an iCard in there, right there. There's the iCard. There's also a video at the very end of this in the video cards that you can click on it. It's a lot of fun. If you've never seen it before, or if you have seen it and maybe stopped watching during the digital age, give us a shot. We got a really fun season. All right, everybody, we appreciate you, and we'll see you next time for the big thing.